It's just an Epson
I just
inkjet.
got you sitting on the right side, that's all, that's evidence.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's not the same picture you showed a while ago.
No, I used the angle, but then I got Jim right
You
side.
got a different angle, a different light.
We're only 6 people.
And,
Yeah.
huh?
We got 4 more minutes.
Well, we only figured 8% of the 6, so we figured 4.
14 in April.
But we got 5. We got Chuck. He's a citizen. Chuck's a citizen. You're a citizen.
Let me see your green card then. It just says-
No.
Okay. I'm like, why are we talking about 6?
Where'd you buy a house?
I'm just thrilled we got it going more and more.
Apparently it wasn't you.
Water bill's too high.
Well,
I think that's gonna be an ongoing thing.
The one thing,
For like,
That's gonna definitely be a
the one thing that didn't
it's
get
gonna be
The
a,
next one, you're on the water.
we got our usage down. We're good.
This month with the dripping, there's gonna be some water.
I'm gonna wash the dishes once in a
Oh yeah,
while.
this month. Yeah. I take a shower once a month. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you get it out.
Pepe Le Pew.
Tell when you take one.
No, but remember when we were talking about the toilets dripping? I woke up the other morning to go pee and I heard a drip. I think my toilet's dripping. So now we're gonna replace that this weekend.
You'd be surprised how much water will run.
Oh yeah.
Recorded, Jeff will have to
Yep.
record it.
I went one time years ago. Well, before hurricane, turned on the light, still had the beach house. We don't have
You didn't turn it back on though.
Oh, that Basset Hound got hit?
We come back on the porch.
Not happening.
Basset Hound got hit?
Backyard.
It did?
Yeah.
Aw.
Dead?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought it was Madison. Yeah, there was somebody else that posted on there and said that they have it at their house and if they wanna, they'll bury it, but if they wanna come get it, they can.
Well, it's been up there before. I got a call about it up there before.
Oh, the dog got hit this weekend.
Yeah, it was walking down the road and I can't-
So we still haven't found the owner though?
Nah, they hadn't showed up on Facebook. They don't want to bury it.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like him and Melissa.
We're ready to.
Cameron, where's Melissa?
59.
Let's call the meeting to order, please.
Oh, they found
Let's
the
stand
owner.
and do our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I
Pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas.
one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Lonnie, would you say the prayer, please?
Before we take a minute to say the prayer, I would like you to take a moment in silence to remember the 67 lives that was lost in Flight 5342 in Virginia. Father God, we come to you as humble as we can, thanking you for these many blessings that you have bestowed on the city of Beverly Oaks, the constituents, and its employees. Thank you for the things that you have done, the things that you are doing, and the things that you will do in the city of Beverly Oaks. God, we realize that many are called, but few are chosen. I'm a firm believer that everyone that is elected on this board have been chosen by you, and that great things are being done and great things are to come. Dear God, I'm asking a special blessing upon the mayor. Lead her, guide her, and protect her. Asking the same blessing upon the council members. Lead us, guide us, and protect us to do your will and to be great in whatever we do. These blessings I ask in your name. Amen.
Start with roll call, starting with Bud.
Bud Mayor Nino, Ward 1.
Stephanie Kramer, Ward 2.
Jim Wright, Ward 3.
Adelana Clayton, Ward 2.
Sherry Mitchell, Mayor,
Ward Mayor,
Ward Mayor, yeah.
Jeff Thibodeau, Ward 3.
All right, the only person that's not here is Roger.
Yes.
But it's not a mandatory meeting, so that's fine. All right, we're going to start off with our discussion. I'm going to be reading from our little board that's not up.
That's bad. I thought you had more things to do.
Do I need to read all the discussion? That's basically,
Is that what we're discussing?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're discussing. All right. This is our second annual January council workshop and town hall meeting to keep this is the first slide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to keep our momentum going. In January of 2024, the new Bevel Oaks City Council hosted a Dump Your Bucket workshop for the entire city. It was a wonderful turnout of citizens bringing concerns to light in search of solutions. The success that the event set for the pace for the entire year and initiated what may now be an annual event. This meeting's purpose is to continue with the communication involved and motivate our citizens towards accomplishing the vision of Bevel Oaks.
Okay, the outcomes we wanted to try to get today, or tonight out of this meeting, when we finish today, hopefully we've accomplished these 4 things, or at least taken a big chunk out of them. But you can read that, but basically, put it in cowboy terms, those 4 items are what y'all did at the last meeting, what we've done with that work y'all did, what was done as a city council leadership with that work that was done, and what we want to continue to do. And that's those items. And y'all may have to bear with me because I am not a technical oriented guy. So any questions on the products that we want to accomplish out of here today? Is there anything else anybody would like to get accomplished in the meeting today?
Can I?
Sure.
I just wanted everybody to know what we're about to review, like he said, is the concerns and issues list for January 2024, and the concerns and issues or goals for 2025. So there's a long list. There's like 90 items, correct? And I actually did some math to make it make sense. And I think I want to, I guess, pat ourselves on the back. I think, we did a good job. From looking through all of this, we 63.3% of the items out of the 90 items were completed. 63.3%. 11% needs more details. 18% for future plans. 3.3% council response, needs council response, and 4.4% we deem not a good fit. All right, so like I said, I think that was a pretty good, year for us in the city of Bevel Oaks, and for, the council members as far as, completing what was asked of our constituents. All right, thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Lonnie. Who all was in the first town hall meeting? So 2 of y'all were and 3 of you weren't. If you remember, for those of you here, you remember we kind of had a ground rule. We had like 20 folks here, and we had the big whiteboard up, and Heather was the scribe, and we let anybody put anything up there they wanted to. We weren't going to argue those points or make decisions on them. We were going to chart them for future actions. Questions were allowed for clarity to understand those, and everything went on that board. And when we got through with that board, we had, I think, over 70. Actually took pictures of the board and then went and wrote them down. And we had both sides of the whiteboard filled. Just for transparency, I added probably 15 or so to those. I went back through my notes from previous city council meetings where everybody got their 2-minute, or not everybody had a chance, but the 2-minute citizen comments. There were a few that were mentioned in those that weren't up there. And I looked back on Facebook for some that may not be up there and added those. And I added some of my own that because I had issues that with the water sewer operations that I wanted to be sure that we were addressing. So we ended up with this list that I'm getting ready to show you. There's 90 items on here. And that's just page 1. So you might just take a second and find 1 or 2 up there that kind of mean something to you and see if we can track that through the rest of this meeting. I may be putting myself at risk by asking that, but I think the more important ones you'll kind of see. So once we had all that list and we just took the list, the raw list, and that was, and here's page 2, that's the rest of them. You could see everything up there from, striping sweet, center stripe down sweet gum, and you got water quality over here, water bill's too high. Clean out the water plant shop, that was mine, I added that one on there. Resolve software issues with Badger Meter, transparency within the city council and government, so you can look at all of them. And if you've got any questions on any of those, we'd be glad to discuss them. What I hope to do is to make sure that everybody understands we just didn't take all that work everybody did a year ago and let it swim upstream like a salmon and die, that we've actually been using that and use that work as a framework to get to where we are today. And hopefully we can continue that process, albeit not as 90 items that would come out from here on, because we should, and we shouldn't have to wait until till a town hall meeting, but it's a good time to refresh. So anyway, that's the raw data that we accumulated in that meeting. And then the next step we did was we wanted to take all this data and put some priority to it and try to regroup it, because there was a lot of overlap. And if you've ever dealt with a lot of these things, there's one thing that's big that once you do it, you take care of some of the smaller stuff. So Jeff had initiated the Citizens Advisory Board, and we kind of charged them with that task. And let me let Jeff talk about what the Citizens Advisory Board did.
Thank you, Jim, and I hope you know that there's a lot of work that went in behind all that he just talked about. And so, we're not a group of people that just sit on the sidelines and watch. We like to take the advice of our people that we are representing and actually do something with it. So we chose to send out invitations to people who had made remarks on Facebook about a various list of things. And as I saw the posts, both positive and negative, we sent an invitation to those people to see if they would be interested in being on a advisory board. We didn't know what to call it, didn't know really how to charge it or what it would be like, but we got quite a bit of interest. I think we ended up with 26 or 8 people on it. That number swells and shrinks. There's several that have moved out of the city, which is one of the requirements, that you must live here. But that was basically the only requirement. Since then, there's been a few refinements to that, the ideologies and things that we all need to adhere to. But we took a group of neighbors from all walks of life, from all wards, that agreed to serve in an unelected and honorary role to assist the city council in processing and prioritizing the 100+ issues and concerns. And so the first task was to tell this group of 20 some odd people to look at the list of 100 items and give me your top 10. So we had 20 people with their top 10. We took their top 10 and consolidated those again into the top 10 of the top 10. And then prioritized them and presented this back to Jim and to the council, that this cross-section of the community took 100 items and kind of a double blind. Nobody influenced anybody as to what to vote for or how to vote for it. And consolidated probably 3 or 4 different items on each one. So if you would look back at that list, there's a lot of overlap, or there's some overlap in some of the subjects. So we're able to capture that. If you're interested in volunteering, please see me and I'll make sure I get you an invitation. I don't know that the QR code's going to work on this right now because we've just done a bunch of moving around, but I'm very easy to find. So if you're interested in volunteering, if you know anybody who would be interested in volunteering, we'd love to have them and see if it's a good fit. Of those 100, these are the top items that came out. This is what was presented back to City Council. We don't need to belabor all of these, but these are the issues that were most concerning to the group. And now brace for impact. The following slides are the spreadsheet, and there's a lot of work that Jim did on this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet did not even exist until the council workshop in '24. And this is meant to be kind of a funny brace for impact thing, but it honestly is an example of massive action. Jim, I'm gonna give this back to you.
Let's back up to this, because, I mean, there's a lot of work there that, and, I mean, the purpose of a town hall meeting versus a council meeting is that everybody can talk as much as they want. You can ask questions and we can respond back, other than the council meeting, which has the strict requirements. If you want to talk, you can talk 2 minutes and we don't have to respond to you. So before we just, we're not going to leave this completely, but these were the 10 top issues that came out of your group, the group of 25 or whatever, massaged and prioritized by the CAB committee, and that's what we ended up with. So, you know, water sewer was top, and Bandit's Homes was number 2. And having an action plan to do something, having an action plan to do something was a high priority, and that's because the folks had been here, they've been coming to the meetings for a year and hearing a lot of rhetoric, but not seeing anything get done. And that's what we're trying to obviously trying to do here. Stray animals, that's been a sticky wicket. Prioritize issues, citizens' concerns, take action, drainage ditch, transparency in city government, community development, ditches, and buildings and grounds. And we've got some activity going, so it's Jeff's brace for impact slide title. What we really found at this point is that we were just kind of, you know, there's an old saying that if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Well, that's kind of where we were going. So we decided that we were going to try to define the roads and to try to decide who was driving the van down that particular road, and and use that data that we took from there. And here's what that's not what I wanted next. That's what you got.
It's been that way since you saw it first.
All right, okay.
There you go.
We'll go back to this.
The green's really hard to read.
Yeah.
I color coded it for a reason.
That's everything that's been.
Green is good. Green is good.
It's darker when it's printed.
Okay. All right,
Sorry about that.
so I don't have to say it again. Remember what I just said for about 3 slides down the road. Okay. This is all those issues that after we prioritized them and started working on them. Some of the status that we either have actually done some work, completed work, or we have activities going on in them. And
That's the second slide of green.
what?
That's the second slide of green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back.
There's a bunch of green.
Yeah.
Go back one.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Here it is. Like I say, this I should have left you with this.
I've got override on you.
You should have saved me a minute ago.
I can get you home if you need it.
Anyway, this is those lists, and you know you can pick one and we can discuss what we've been done or what's going on about it if you like to. For example, one of the priority items, if you remember from the previous thing, was vacant homes. Well, if you follow on this issue down to number 12, see if I can make this work. Yeah. Number 12 is vacant homes. All right, this is,
What is in the works mean?
it means we've got activity going on. And we're going to talk, we have a separate discussion on vacant homes we're going to get to in a little bit, okay? But that's one, let's pick another, we don't have one up here. All right, here's one that's different. One of the items was center stripe sweet gum. That really didn't have much priority, and once we got into it, our road width doesn't allow that, so that issue is answered. The answer to that is no, we're not going to do that. So some people have a little trouble with no as an answer, but some things we're not going to do.
You can't.
I wouldn't do it.
Go ahead, Lonnie.
Like for instance, the inner works ones are things that's gonna take some time. We started it, and so like with the vacant homes, we voted and we decided that we're gonna actually do so many at one time, being that it costs.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand that, but my concern is like the house next door to me was raised. There's been no work on it in over 2 years now.
Well, that's something that I'm addressing, because we're fixing to have our code enforcement officer work more hours. Because, I mean, with an elevation grant, there are some stipulations to the grant that I'm trying to work out. One is they have to have insurance on the property. So far, they're all complying.
Well, they did have water hooked up. Bud had to come turn the water off.
Right, exactly, when it
because
broke, yeah.
Pouring, I mean,
So, I mean, there
gushing
are
water.
quite a few of the houses that we were aware of, but we're only doing like 10 at a time.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
if
what I meant.
we-
I mean, can you, I mean, because remember, it took us a while to find who owned that house.
Yeah, no, I've got a
Yeah,
list.
and-
We know
It's a
who they are.
process.
And that's why there's a lot of them still in works, because they're not easy to solve. Heather's going to make a presentation on those, and if you don't mind, if you'll hold that until then, I don't want to ignore your question, just try to get it when we get to that point, if that's okay. But this is just a kind of example of what we've done. These were all the items that are on the list. Like I say, 75, 80% of them came from the group that was in here. Some of them came off of Facebook and notes, and some of them were just mine that pertain specifically to what my responsibility was with the water and sewer operation. Complete the renovation of the Civic Center. That's pretty much, this part's done. You're going to see another item somewhere up there here later. What are we going to do about the fire bay back there? That's a future activity that we haven't addressed, and it's something could be. Terry, you looked like you were going to ask
I was
something.
curious, the drainage ditches.
So say again?
The drainage ditch.
Drainage ditches, they need to be graded out?
That would be me.
Yeah.
Can I just briefly tell you one thing?
Okay.
We have 11 miles about of roads out here, so that converts to 22 miles of ditches. The county came out and dug a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks in a week. So if you convert that back, I think it's about 7 years for them to dig them out, okay? We can't force the county to come out here and dig ditches. So what we're doing, here's what we're doing, we're prioritizing what needs to be done, okay? If water's getting in somebody's house, then that needs to be done, got done. Water going over the road was the next one down there on Riverbend. They cleaned it out, blew it out, we'll see how it works.
The one on Chimney Rock.
Chimney Rock, they did it also. So, but we had this many work orders into the county, and we reduced it to this many work orders so they could prioritize and do them. And then I met with Brandon today, and they are going to send us a completed work order. Whenever they get through with the job, they're going to send us a completed work order so we can pull that work order out and move it out, and then we'll be on the list for the third one. We're just going to try to prioritize them as we go. Standing water in somebody's ditch, that's down.
Let me.
I do know that
Every ditch has got standing.
You gotta understand, when this ball starts going, you see the mass, this stuff is on.
yeah.
Yeah, let me back up a minute, because I'm gonna kind of skip our format, and we'll come back to these charts in a minute. But I'm gonna go I'm gonna go to this. This is what we took with the general categories of those issues. We came up with 7 different, what I call fields of endeavors or general categories that all of those things would fit into. And we named them, you can call them whatever you want. And when we put those together, we came back and said, all right, one of the problems we had with some of that is we really didn't have responsibilities of who was doing what. And we have, this was just finalized for the last election, council people at the last December council meeting. So this is the council responsibilities for 2025, and these are the general areas of what they have. Now, we're not going to say just because it's a pothole, it's buds, or just because it's a water leak, it's mine, but generally that's the one that's going to have that. There may be something come up like, I can't put the flags out, you know, is that roads and grounds or is that community development, whatever it is. You know, those are things that can go either way. But this is the general order of responsibilities for the council. So you can see each category has got a lead and it's got a secondary. So in the event of something happening to one of the leads, or there's more work than one can handle, then they've got somebody fill in. Charlie?
As a guy on the ground that got briefed on all this stuff when it came out, I mean, there's some red tape we had to jump through, and those jobs weren't disseminated out to everybody, but they worked together. All right, once it got prioritized, but we ran into weather and some red tape. But now, once this weather clears and we've already started motion, you're going to see this stuff coming up and continuing right left off. We've had some pretty bad weather that's like really hot.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
And here's the second one. That's, you know, roads and drainage. Bud's got that. We've kind of changed that that area up a little bit, and basically Bud kind of took that over when Doug Emmons chose not to run. So those are what we got. Any questions on that? So if anybody's thinking about running for council, like I did 3 years ago, that I could come to a council meeting, drink coffee, and do nothing, that ain't happening no more.
It's only an hour a month.
I gotta watch it.
That's what Bud's on me.
Lies.
So,
Let me see you watch.
now that
Okay.
you have stuff in the green, Jim,
What's that?
so one of the things up there was more meetings like that.
Yeah.
Dump the bucket on 24th. What more can you handle now that we've got some things in the work completed, but we still have some
Meetings
stuff?
twice a month. Pay raise for council.
You know, the original dump the bucket meeting, I'm the one that designed that, and my intention was for that meeting to get about 40 items, and that we would, in that meeting, divide up into groups and develop priorities of what we'd done in that meeting. Well, that meeting, we had 30 people in here, and you saw the output of that. There wasn't, in order to have done that, I would have had to cut off the input we were getting from the citizens, and we sure didn't want to do that. So, you know, we were here for 2 hours or more, and we were already starting to lose people. So hopefully we don't have to have those kind of meetings anymore, but we don't want to ever lose that ability to involve people. And that was a good start. And right here, we're going to get to this part where, you know, tell me what you want to do next.
Right.
You know, do you want a pickleball court? Whatever. Anyway, these are some of the green items, and we can talk about these if you want to. These are items that are on the list that there may have been some work done, and there still needs to be a lot more done, or there needs to be work done that hadn't been done, or in some cases maybe just understanding. And then we've got those, we either hadn't done anything, we're not sure what to do, or we don't know how to do it. But those were items on the list. So the purpose of putting that up there is to show that we're not ignoring them. We just, some of them we just don't know what to do with them. Well, that's not totally true. Like upgrade the water building. We've done some work on the water building. We've pressure washed it. We've cleaned it up. We've painted the pipes, we've cleaned it all out. We're gonna have a surplus equipment sale, and we got a new garage door coming tomorrow. So those are some things that we've done there. We've cleaned out the sewer plant. Those are things you don't see. It's just things that stick in mind in Charlie's crawl when we go down there and see a nasty building.
Excuse me, before we move forward, is there any slide that any constituents want to address something? Or, you know, talk about, or, you know, before we move on?
Well, yeah.
All right,
Okay, like the first one, making money ideas for the community.
okay.
I put out some ideas, and I'm sorry, Jeff, but I felt like you overlooked me. I think I had pretty good ideas. I mean, ways to make money and not cost money.
So what we need is ideas and the wind behind the sails to keep it going.
Okay, but last year I said we need to have fairs, craft fairs in here. And, I mean, it was like immediately just shot down. Like nobody wanted to, everybody says, well, it won't work, it won't work, it
Well,
won't work.
we were looking for somebody to take that and lead it.
Well, nobody said that.
We said it in the meeting. That's how the whole,
If I would have known that, Jeff, I would have done it.
we actually discussed that. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but that's what we have to have. It's not just a bunch of ideas. We got to have people to help push it down the road, because we all have a lot of priorities. And if it's a big enough priority, for instance, the car show, it was a big priority for Taz, and he pushed that thing and pushed that thing. And there's a lot of the events that do happen because we've got somebody behind it pushing it and keeping it front and center. So if you want to have one, please,
If it was up to me, we would have been having one every month.
then let's put some legs on it.
Margie, my suggestion would be to make a proposal, either come to Jeff. Jeff's a community development guy, and y'all can hash some details out, and then maybe come to council. But to do that, you need more than an idea. You need.
I've got an idea about numbers.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, if you got the details and some money we're talking about, I mean, I wouldn't expect.
I mean, I don't need any money because they've been making money for the city.
Well,
You are,
yeah, I mean,
part of the CAP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, and that's a good thing to me, but it's still then it's going to compete with something else that might make good money too. But if you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you've got an idea and you can put some meat on the bones and bring it either through council yourself or through the committee to council, let's talk about it. Propose some dates and what have you. We've got some facilities here we can use, and we certainly got something over there. I mean, I'd like to.
Well, another thing is the restrooms at the park. I don't know if y'all been to the China football field. Have any of y'all been over there?
No.
Go over to the China football field. They have a building. It's just one of those, little buildings that you can get on the, Anyway, they've got it separated in two. Each one, it has 2 restrooms with doors on them and a wash basin. That's it. I mean, and I think that guy told us what it cost, $6,000?
Something like that.
$6,000 to do it. I mean, it's not permanent, it could be, but, it's not permanent. But it is a way out to save a little money now, and, if the restrooms at the park are in.
What was that event?
They just took like one of those buildings.
Some of the buildings that you can buy off the side of the
Yeah, off the side of
highways,
the highway.
they just took one of those.
Portable
Sheds.
building?
Yes,
Yeah, it's-
portable buildings.
Yeah.
That most people
I'm-
turn into like craft rooms
Right.
and stuff like
A
that.
she shed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They turned them into restrooms.
They're cleaning restrooms,
Yeah,
Charlie.
but there's like more turnout for a football field than our park, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's what I'm saying, we wouldn't need a big one.
The problem is you kind of have to have a return
Okay,
on some of the money that you spend, and it's just, I
You're
don't know.
right, you're right, you're
Yeah.
100% right.
All right,
But
hold-
so
hold
far,
on.
we haven't had an event, I don't believe, that's actually made money.
Right.
Have we? Am I right?
You're right, Bud.
But I would say if we started having monthly craft fair and started bringing money in, I could see that justifying looking at that restroom.
Well, I mean, you know, it
So-
would just be getting with the city and deciding, you know, what days of the month would be better. Because I mean, I think that a Friday, you know, a Saturday would be better. I
The
do
third
realize we
Thursday of
have-
every month. Just kidding.
Well, I realize we have football season and stuff like that coming up, but for some people that do crafts for football, you know, baseball, I mean, you know, I know we have a lot of kids out here that play baseball.
Well, we
And-
have a lot of moms that would like to walk around with their kids when it's nice and at a
Yes.
craft fair and just get outside.
While we have rental agreements out on the buildings and parks, though, you're probably gonna have to play it by ear, because you can't say
Right,
Thursday.
right. That's what I'm saying. We'd
Well,
like to have a day.
you know, those are details that you develop and you iron out. If it's a money-making thing for the city, we're not gonna charge rental on the building. But if it's a money-making thing, if Margie wants to have her own craft show here and make her own money, she can rent the building, that's
Right.
fine, you know.
Right.
As long as she meets the guidelines of our rental agreement, you know, no booze
Right.
or whatever.
But that's what I'm saying, because, I mean, I kind of, you know, just by looking, you could probably get, probably 20 in here at $20 a piece. And that's just saying $20 because that's what Sour Lake charges. That's out in the open, that's not inside a building.
Or you could use the bay too.
Right, so you put 20 in here, 20 people at $20, that's more than what this place rents for.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk about future ideas here in a little bit, in more detail. Just finishing up on the 90 issues that we had, here's a list of those that just hadn't been done yet. Some of them are money issues, some of them are stuff we're probably not even gonna do. Some of them are stuff that, for whatever reason, just hadn't taken the effort to do it. Like, for example, one of the things that's come up is, from my end of it, the water operation is automatic flush valve on Carroll Street. We have to flush the dead-end lines on a routine frequency to avoid stagnant and avoid buildup of residuals that would get us in trouble from a health standpoint. And we looked at having an automatic flush valve, so we did go after there and do it manually. Well, we ended up coming up with something that's working right now that we didn't have to spend hardly any money to do it rather than put an automatic valve in. So that's still on the list, and it's on the list because we're still evaluating this temporary apparatus we put in there just to see if it works. So, go ahead.
And go finish. No, go ahead and finish.
Well, I'm just giving you an example of one of those things. So, number 80 up there's been some talk about annexing property for growth potential. You know, there's, now that Bevel Oaks is in Hardin Jefferson, there's some folks that might want to, some developers that might want to build out here. So, do we want to be bigger as Bevel Oaks, or do we just want to clean up what we've got and get back? And a lot of these things will tie together because, you know, one of the big issues is water rates. Well, quite frankly, water rate's not gonna go down until we pay off the bond or we double the size of water connections out here or increase them significantly. So, you know, is that one of the things we want to do? Now, I'm not asking anybody to make that decision or comment on it here, but those are the kind of things that we're charting on the board that we want on a long-term plan that we don't lose sight of.
Does anybody know, because on our printout here, it says the new bigger entrance sign is not a good fit, but on there it says not complete.
What number?
73 up there.
That was updated today.
Yeah, I did an update.
Which one's correct? This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's one of those things that just because it got on the board doesn't mean we agreed with it, okay? But we still want everybody to have the right to express their opinion. Okay, those are any more comments on any of those?
Yeah, but it's not on ours. I was looking at number 78, and I just wanted the constituents to know and everybody else. I mean, it says criminal background check for of council members. I don't know who suggested that. I mean, but that would be a moot point. I mean, it would be a waste of citizens' money because we would have to do an extra background check. I mean, in order for us to run as council members, the state themselves do their own background check. So I think.
Yeah, Drew has shared us that night that his office does it.
Yes, so,
Yeah. Anyway, like I say, we've not been judgmental on any of those items. Now, some of them are gonna come off, because we're not gonna leave, dead soldiers on there, but, we definitely wanted to share it at this point. Okay, of course, we've talked about that. Any questions on who's got what? You see a stop sign missing, who's got it.
Call y'all.
Who's got it?
Call
Sorry,
Charlie.
that was
Signs?
mine. It was the wind. I am not kidding y'all. The wind blew the stop sign over.
It's
No,
not.
I heard
it
that
was
you
stuck.
Ground
knocked
to the
it down.
building, that'd be
It was
Roger
stuck
Rose,
in?
and
It was only stuck in
signs
that
for the
one.
city. Yeah.
It literally blew it over.
It did. I mean, it was.
So I just picked a random item and I struck a nerve, huh?
It was funny because
You should play the lottery.
I watched it for 2 days and I was thinking, did somebody hit it?
Winner,
Did
winner.
somebody hit it?
The wind won't blow it over now, for sure.
Okay. And one of the items on there, I'm not gonna go back and look for it, but one of them was hire some additional maintenance help. Well, fortunately, Charlie has been willing to work, and unfortunately, he's really good at what he does, and he works hard. Unfortunately, he just works when he wants to.
I won't let him.
And we had a 50% reduction, I believe.
Doug season's over.
Yeah, Doug season, y'all, Doug season, he gets.
Yeah, that season's over, so he'll be working. But anyway,
It's part of his
it's,
contract.
Yeah, it is, seriously.
he's been a really big asset to what we've done, but he still takes directions through Sabrina. So, and that comment goes to all of us on council as well, because it's easy to ask Charlie to do something instead of going through Sabrina, because he needs to work off of work orders just like the county does and the water contractor and everybody else does. Okay. All right. This is a timeline chart, and it kind of shows some of the things that have been done. And it starts kind of with the New Year's celebration. I guess that's last year, right?
Correct. All the green are city events. The purple has to do with the properties and violations, and then the black is just notation.
Okay.
That's last year.
Yes.
And if you go back another year, and we didn't really talk about this at the previous meeting, if you go back nearly 2 years, back to the point when we started paving the roads, if you really are open-minded, you can look and see how much stuff has really started getting done around the city. The activities and the results have been tremendous. On all of those categories up there. We're kind of to the point, what happened after Harvey is everybody just, we were in a panic mode, I guess. I wasn't even here. I was living somewhere else. But the last several years, we've been really just fixing what's broke. And what our goal is going forward is we continue to fix what break, but also start to make things better. Work on the improvement, regenerate kind of ideas. And so we'll see some things there, like we're going to talk about this 13-acre piece of land that we've got over here. What are the options we can do with it? What new facilities do we want to look at, consider? Kind of like the annexation. Do we really want to be larger?
Annexation. Annexation.
But you can see on,
Hardin, I think.
you can see on here
Okay.
the first one of those properties that was vacant got sold in September. And we did the red tag, went back in April or May.
Yeah,
May, violations failed, yeah.
Well, actually February.
February.
No, we didn't post the
Yeah,
notices
yeah,
until
oh, you
May.
identified them here, March,
We
April,
posted the vote notices.
April, we skipped April.
Yeah.
Because that's baseball season.
But it's not.
We didn't start sending out certified letters and stuff till May, but we had to establish.
Until May, okay.
properties.
And so we got that sold. But if you go look around, you can see some activity, and I won't steal Heather's thunder here on that, but
I don't know.
any questions on any of that?
I'll let you steal it then, you can have it.
Okay. And we spelled her name right too.
I know, he went back and fixed it.
We've got, you know, just briefly, the city has two profit and loss areas, the city and the water sewer operations. And they really both have to be separate. You can loan money one or the other if you need to, but they really need to be separate. And so we have to manage our expenditures against our revenue as you would in any business. And that neither one of those are super large, but to do major things, we've got to have help. And that's like the generators that were put in after Harvey, some of the work you've seen that took place out here after the flood. That's big money, the roads. And so the way we get that is through grants through the different government entities, whether it's federal, state, local, whatever. So anyway, we've got some activity going on, and Sabrina is sort of the point person for the city in doing that, and she's going to just kind of mission our grants. You want the clicker, or you want me to?
Y'all can click away.
Well, let me get it.
I don't wanna do it.
Don't litter off that easy.
We're training you for bigger and better things. This is part of it.
I didn't pay attention to your demonstration.
You wrote your own script.
I don't know what to do. You push the button. This is the arrow. This
Forward.
Okay.
Backwards.
And Sabrina's with two N's in case you want.
Not too easy.
Not two E's.
All right, so we have applied for all of the grants that, that showed on the slideshow. We haven't heard back from any of them. We should be hearing back within the next couple of months, hopefully. But, this shows all the ones that we have applied for. I turned it on. So the first one we have is, the RCP grant. It's the Resilient Communities Plan. This is gonna, so we can develop annexation plans, a few other things. I don't remember what all we can do. But this is gonna be future plans for Double Oaks. And then we also have an application in with the Texas Department of Agriculture, it's a $750,000 grant. So, let's see. Okay, so this grant we applied for, so the lift station on Riverbend, we have a sewer main that runs through the woods on the opposite side of Riverbend, going towards the bayou over there. So it takes in a lot of water due to it being so low back there. Because
Is that from the lift tank?
it doesn't come from the lift, it goes to the lift station. I would have done it correctly, I'm sorry. But it runs through the woods and then goes into the lift station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it goes, all right.
Yeah, the general geography of the city is that it flows toward the middle of the city, so you gotta, and the old sewer plant used to be back here, which now is the pump stations.
So being the location of that sewer main back there, we applied for this grant so that we can do away with that if we can, because it's bringing in way more water than sewer, and it's just a big hassle. So we applied for that on that one.
It blocks the four-wheelers also. I'll add into that.
But
Throw that in there.
the comment here up here about the infiltration is that, you understand what that means. We're getting water into the sewer system, you know, but our contract is written, you know, Beaumont could get real ugly and probably take a lawsuit and all that, but they could charge us for that water because it's going into our sewer system and getting shipped to Beaumont for treatment.
So you're talking about getting rid of it, we don't need it?
There's only one service line connected to that, and that is the property over there that always has the dump trucks. Yeah, that one. That's the only one that
Could they be rerouted?
Well,
That's
that's
part of
that's
the-
what this project's
Okay,
for.
got it.
It would require engineering.
Being they got a tree house, it looks like that would be high enough to where. it would go.
Gravity flow.
Head pressure.
They could flow that thing anywhere.
They got their own lift station.
Well, there's more involved than that, obviously, but there is some lines that run back here, and we have a lift station back on Rolling Hills that only services three or four houses. 3 or 4 houses because of the elevation. It has to pump it back to the main, and it's I can't even hardly explain it to you unless I have Larry in here that's walking me through it. But the way these mains are built, they all come back this way and then go back that way.
Okay.
And you got some sections that are really loaded. And if you ever notice in some real heavy rains, there'll be a manhole cover down here off of Sweet Gum that'll be bubbling up water, and that's cause the infiltration of water.
Okay.
Now, the other part of the infiltration too is that not only from those places, but we've probably got houses that have got bad broken sewer lines that's bleeding water into it. There's even been some rumors that people have tied in surface water or gutters or whatever, and that's illegal. And so some of that may require smoke tests to find out where all the problems are. So it's more than just replacing that line. In fact, that line replacement may be bigger than that. Okay.
Okay, and then this grant, there's a huge amount tied to it. So, there was $82 million that was not used that for a park
Nice.
through FEMA. So, what they did was they asked anyone who had interest in it to, there is no limit to what grants we can apply for. So you have 3 grants that we can apply for, but it could be any kind of money amount. There wasn't a designated money amount that we could apply for. So we shot for the stars and we picked the top 3 that we could. So the first one is for the road project. So there was quite a bit of roads that got done through FEMA and GLO. However, there were a lot that weren't touched. So what we did was all of the roads that did not get done by the grant previously, we put every single road and applied for a grant to get all of the roads done. Whether we'll get it or not, nobody knows. But we shot for the stars to see what we could get. So this is one thing that Jim was mentioning too, is sewer pipe bursting. Because our sewer lines are so old, our sewer mains, we applied for a grant to start from the sewer plant, our old sewer plant, and come out as far as we could. I don't remember where it ended at, but because it's the deepest at the sewer plant, and if anything were to happen to that sewer main, then it would be the most expensive to fix out here. So we applied for a grant to start the sewer plant and come as far as we could to do pipe bursting on that sewer main.
Pipe bursting that's a technique for replacing the sewer line.
Go to the next slide, and then you can explain it from there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And notice the number on the side of the truck.
Does anybody have any questions about pipe bursting?
Jim, can you explain that?
The number on the panel truck?
No, how
How
it
the
works.
pipe
This
bursting
is-
works.
This is what the visual.
No, I have not, I mean, I've got a basic idea. Buzz actually seen that done.
We did it, and what they do is they shove a bigger pipe through a smaller pipe, and then they have to go back and put sewer taps at each location. So you wind up with a pipe that doesn't leak, a main sewer line. And we did that over on Yellowstone, over in that area, and it's pretty cool to watch. They put a head on that thing, and what it does, it just cuts the pipe open, lays it open, underground, you don't have to dig it up, and they shove that pipe through it, and as it goes, it splits it open. You got a brand new pipe, tap it, done.
So that's done without trenching, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to dig it
it's
up.
Trenching.
The what?
It's done without trenching.
Yeah, without trenching.
They get on the end and they fuse that pipe together as they go, and they shove it through there with a backhoe.
Beaumont actually put,
crazy. What's
Beaumont's,
I'm just curious, my dad was in the pipe business for his whole life. I just wondered what the material for the new pipe
They've been
It's
doing that in West
expensive.
Texas for years.
you know, Tara,
is. Carbon fiber.
Oh, it's plastic.
no, it's some kind of,
Polycarbonate
Poly
or
something or other,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
But
Some kind of
Beaumont,
plastic that they
Super
fuse
hard.
together as they go. They basically weld the plastic together and shove it.
Yeah.
Makes money.
Beaumont has, they've actually got their own crew that's doing that in their sewers. Of course, Beaumont sewers are older than.
Is that
ours.
impact you hear every now and then, that
Huh?
boom, 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 as they're driving it through?
Could be.
Man, I don't know.
It's kind of
I
a
mean,
steady
obviously,
show.
if that happens in my lifetime, I'll have to learn more
They're
about it,
doing it off the
but,
glass right now, I saw.
Yeah.
Huh?
They were doing it off the glass.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Sabrina, with the last round of grants, how long did it take to hear back? I'm just curious.
I didn't start the application, but from what I've read, they applied for the application in 2018. In 2019, I believe
Takes about a year.
Oh,
they heard
okay.
back at least from
Okay.
them, but
I
it
thought
didn't
you're-
break
But
ground.
the money
It
But
is
see-
didn't break
back
ground until
3 years.
yeah. See, once you get the money, then you got to do the design work, the engineering work, and
Yes.
the
Yeah.
contract bids and all that other stuff.
it takes a couple.
It's not gonna happen.
So they don't make you get anything like that prior to granting the money?
Basic.
Well, so like this grant here, the one that
Yeah.
has the 3 big projects, they just wanted us to list the projects.
Oh.
They didn't ask for any details, they just said money amount project.
Yeah, we kinda had to hustle to come up with
Yeah,
something to
that
put on
was
that.
tight.
Okay.
That
And
was
may
tight.
regret that we didn't put something else in there. Okay?
And then the last one is, so, we have, at the water plant, we have all of the electrical stuff for the panel and stuff like that to control the water system. We have all of that elevated now. But our booster pumps are still on the ground. So if water gets up over our booster pumps, then there's no, I mean, they're not gonna work anyway.
And for any of y'all that got up last Monday at 6 o'clock and tried to take a shower,
5:30.
the booster pumps were not pumping.
I had water.
But not because they were underwater.
5:30 in the morning.
What kind of monitoring system did you see out?
It's a SCADA, yeah.
I must say that's impossible.
I had a doctor appointment today, Tara, and they told me that I can't hear. I mean, really, so I got an excuse now.
So I was just wondering what the SCADA control monitoring system was on it, and if that could be improved so that,
On the booster pumps?
yeah.
Well, let me tell you what happened on the freeze. I don't know if everybody's caught up with it or not. We have a freeze protection plan where we go out and insulate and check stuff and do stuff, and it's been working. They even changed, last year we changed the grade and the quality of insulation. Some of it's reusable, and it worked, and it got, 2 years ago, and we didn't have any problems with it. Well, it got 6 degrees. And what happened was that there's a line that comes off of the booster pump tanks that goes to a pressure gauge. And that gauge tells the pumps when to run. So if that pressure drops below a point, then it'll tell one of them to kick on. If it keeps dropping, it'll tell another one to kick on. If it keeps dropping, or it goes back up, it'll say you stop, and so that gauge is like any gauge. It's got a leg off of it. Well, this leg is pretty long coming off the tank. It comes off the tank and it goes down into the ground. Well, that part was heavily insulated. It goes into the ground and it comes up in the water plant building right at the base of the foundation, and that part was insulated. It goes through the cinder block wall, which is about that much, and then on the other side is the gauge, and the controls go to the generator, that control panel up there that's elevated. So, and we put heaters in that room, so that room, where the pumps are and all that stays above freezing. Well, what happened was that section in between that wall froze. And when it froze, this gauge signal was at 47.7, I believe they said, which is, hey, everything's good, you know, you don't need pumps to run. And everybody trickling their water just overnight. It happened, the best I can tell, around midnight when it froze up. It started just going down, and then folks get up in the morning and they don't have any water. So with that gauge still reading, it didn't send the alarm out to alarm anybody to say, hey, your pumps are working. We have the alarm system goes, one notification goes to Sabrina, the other one goes to the office. Well, they got a couple of calls, and they were out here by the time she called them. They got, and as soon as they put a heat gun on it, they could break it loose, and they had, problem solved. Of course, pressure drop, and by law, we have to issue boil water notice and all that. So that's what happened in that case. And we do our root cause failure analysis like we try to do every time we have a problem. We did that this week, and the things we're going to do is we're going to cut that hole in that wall a little bigger and build a case to insulate that piece of pipe and electric trace it, so that we can, extreme weather, we can just plug in some heat tracing and heat that small section there. One of those freak things, it's, you learn something every day.
Yeah, that was in the weekend.
And it's hard to prepare at 6 degrees in southeast Texas.
Yeah.
That's just.
It's 7 inches of snow.
It's a combination of being at ground level and being wet and frozen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's PVC pipe, just.
And it didn't even break.
No, it didn't break. Well, it just wasn't that. It was about a 1-inch pipe. I bet, wouldn't you say what it was? About 1 inch. Anyway, so much for that. I'm sorry, Sabrina, I didn't mean.
It's just to elevate the booster pumps.
Yeah.
So,
And we may even put that water tower in with my name on it.
So we can egg it, huh?
No, that's a private joke between us. Bud making fun of me.
$7 million to get started. No.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not a way out possibility. You don't need a water tower. You need elevated tanks.
Give it back to Joe.
is it Heather's turn?
It's Heather's turn now.
Oh, yeah. It's Heather's turn.
All right, what's next?
It's Heather's turn.
So, working as a team, this team, the whole city, with the city hall and the councilman and CAB team, this team made a big difference in how things are getting accomplished. Because like Jim said, we're not just looking at a bunch of salmon swimming upstream and dying. So.
They breed when they swim upstream, and then they die.
Oh,
Swimming
That means
upstream
no
to
breeding
breed.
for you guys.
No breeding for us.
They swim upstream and lay their eggs.
That's right.
Neither occurred for it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I
Googled it.
Okay. Okay. Now, this is where everybody's been waiting for,
Okay,
because
so
they kept putting them off, right?
Property violations started out, we got a assessment of all of the properties that we needed to send out letters and violations to. The CAB group went and did that, in February, wasn't it February?
That was the first wave, is that correct?
Yeah, that was the first wave. So we did them in waves. I had 3 waves that I started out with, and I would do 10 or 15 each. Because once we started doing these, we figured out how much work was in the paperwork. And it was a lot of paperwork. We initially sent out 35 letters and violations, and we posted on the properties. The first letters went out on May 24th, 2024, not 2025. I don't know why that says that. Anyway, and then when people started getting these notices, they started calling the office and wanting to know what was going on, what they needed to do. A lot of people went and we had a lot of people come clean up their stuff. Come out, mow their yards, keep their property up. We had 12 properties cleared as of July from just maintenance, because they weren't keeping it up before. Once we started with that, the attorney, when we didn't get any response to these people, we got the attorney to send out the next wave of letters. he's been turned over, there's like 9 properties right now that he has that we have to have a hearing for.
You have to have what?
In the process of this, we've had 4 properties have sold in the last 12 months. We've had 2 properties the city is cleaning up. We're in the process of cleaning them up. And then we have 3 properties that are pending. And they're pending based on budgeting
No, it's a contractor.
and contractor.
How much is that costing?
It depends on the property.
Depends on the property.
So,
So
and
how
and I know you're, I'm sorry,
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
And you're worrying about the money being spent by the city to clean up these properties?
I know it's,
Yeah, so
they go
I,
after it, but.
yes,
Yeah.
and so I just want to reiterate to you guys, we're a city, we're operating as a city, and this is a way to bring in money to the city. It's done universal wide, around this country. So I'm just reiterating, to the people that's online and to you guys, it's gonna cost to go after, we came up with a system, we did our research, this is a way to bring in money. How? This is gonna bring in a substantial amount of money. If they don't respond, we can potentially own this property.
Right, okay, but with that, the city owning the property, can the city resell this property?
Absolutely.
In Sheriffstown,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yes.
But also
Yes.
too, by starting this process, we got 4 properties sold, and we're getting families in those 4 properties.
Hey,
So it's a big plus.
let me tell you, I still would like the house next door to me. The idiot won't sell it.
And across the street,
No,
Next
they're
door.
working on that house.
the one in Caddy Farm.
Yeah, he's a plant worker, so he can only be out there at certain times. I felt so bad for those guys. They
Go
got
ahead, Heather.
not 1 man, 2 man stuck.
But we've got 3 more properties we're gonna start working on. As we do this, we keep up with the cost and everything, and that's tacked on to the process. I have a notebook, and we have a hearing for the people that come up here, and we'll talk to them, explain and then we can see their taxes that they owe, stuff, liens and stuff, and we go through the lawyer, and he's the one that goes ahead and starts the lien process. And we can do that based on our ordinances too. Like if they don't mow the grass, we can put a lien on them. If we have to mow it, we're getting our money. So we've just started taking the steps to do this stuff. And right now the ball is in Drew's court. We're waiting on the hearing date, but everything else is in motion.
The process of cleaning those houses up, I kind of did that. Well, I hired the contractor that does our mowing out here. He's supposed to get those properties in condition to where they can be upkept. That means sprayed all around and mowed. Now, that
Like
being
yours is
said,
taking care of front yards, right?
the whole thing.
property.
Okay, so we did the whole thing, and then it has rained since then.
Yeah.
So we haven't been able to do anything else. So,
Yeah.
but they still look 1,000% better. And the people back there, man, finally doing something, it's great. So,
Good job, bud.
well, I mean, all I did was get the contractor.
The key part of that is the upkeep, that's why you contract it out.
Well, the reason I was asking is because,
Because we don't know when they're gonna sell.
well, I'm gonna cut his fingers off if you don't quit mowing the front yard, because it's the backyard that's the problem.
Where?
Next door to me.
Oh.
The weeds are as tall as me.
Well, give us a chance to get the code enforcement officer on board.
Who is
What's
the
the
code
address for
enforcement?
that?
Mike. Mike
I'm at
Collier.
7540.
Oh, he's an inspector.
Yeah, but he's also gonna do code
It's owned by
enforcement.
that
Look at
TS, by that
He'll do
guy,
it.
he don't speak no English, so I can't talk to him.
We got Google
Google
Translate.
Translate.
I've been trying to call him.
Google Translate.
Okay,
So it's like 75,
It works for me
60,
all the time.
75 cents, is that Village Lane?
7550.
75, 50. See, I don't even know how the things run out.
Were there any
It's
repeat?
not over yet, they still got a few more
Is that this one?
things.
You
to
go
do.
ahead.
Well, she's writing. Heather, do you know out of the 12 cleared of violations, did any of them repeat again? Like, are there?
Well, there has been, like, Mr. Munden, we've had to stay on him.
Oh,
We're having
okay.
to, some of them we are having to, repeat called in, but a lot of these, like I said, that we've sold, like the one that we
Yeah.
had, the 13595 Rolling Hills just sold. I mean, it had a tree fall on it right after I did this. She called me and talked to me, and she just sold the property.
Okay.
So we've got them, she's got contractors in there, they're redoing it. We've sold a couple, places to, Kramer Construction, and they're redoing them and putting people in there.
Yeah.
Not that Kramer.
No, that's a whole other issue. That guy does not do good work on houses. I'm just gonna FYI put that
I'm
out
not
there.
buying one.
I have had to fix so much in my house.
Well, you know,
No, I get it.
really kudos to that group that
Yeah.
initiated that, because the initial effort, the initial red tagging
That was
woke a
hard.
lot of people up that did get red tagged. I mean, some are just mowing yards
Well, I
and
mean,
keeping.
it's more, you know, I understand older people, you know, that's been their home for many, many years, you know, they're not real sure what they want with it. But it's, I'm talking about the investors that have come in and basically sit on them.
That's
They're in bankruptcy, some of them, 10 houses.
Some of them are froze by the, or in IRS freezing too.
That was gonna be my next question. Do we have any next steps on those at all, or are we just kind of
We've
static?
contacted, like I said, we've had Drew working on it, but it's hard to get information in an ongoing case.
We might have to bring in a specialized
Okay.
attorney.
Yeah, when you get them that are involved in
Yeah.
legal
That
court
Brooks-
cases and
yeah.
and repo by the government.
Brooks Real
Yeah,
Estate,
who knows?
their properties, we just basically can't touch them.
But-
So we are cleaning up, like, they're on the list to be cleaned up, and then we can see, we can file against them to about to
But the-
clean
Well,
it.
if y'all ever need pictures of the one next door, I mean, try not to go over there.
But what we're
mean,
are
but
gonna
you
have to
can't-
look at is cleaning up the properties, some of the ones that we're gonna clean up. If we're cleaning up the properties, in my opinion, that are below base flood elevation, we can't sell it anyway. So, I mean, what good would it do for us to get it if we spend $4,000 cleaning it up, maintain it, and the house can't, it has to be tore down.
Well, you might be able to sell it as green property.
You gotta tear it down.
Well, you know.
There you got
I
another.
mean, you know, it's,
20.
those are decisions that we'll have to make down the road.
Yeah, I'm just saying, some of them are not.
Freaking Sabrina comes to my house.
It's a matter of, you know,
Well, I mean,
what
you know.
we're willing to spend to make the community look good, you know, and
That's right. Just like we did Bounds property or whatever, the old Bounds property, and then some of the others over there. You open it up and you return it to green and you let it just do its thing.
Some of those were grants now. Don't be
Yeah.
confused. That
We're
wasn't
still-
city money.
Hopefully, we've got some grant money in the works, and if we just know where
Well-
we can put the medicine on the hurt.
you know, like anything else you do, I like the approach that Heather and company are taking, where they're just staggering what they're biting off, because if you get to the point where you can get that first 10 or whatever it was, where we're actually repoing and getting some money back, because if all we do is repo those and mow the yards, we're gonna be having a negative cash flow going out
Yep.
on all these that we don't have. And if we can't, if you can sell 10 of them and then start cleaning 15 more, or whatever that number is, then you're balancing out. It's kind of like anything else you do. If you got money to do it, you gotta need to make sure you understand what the cost of maintaining it going forward is. Okay, what's next for Buffalo Oaks, huh?
So some of the comments that were collected and some that were added appear here. We've talked for a few months about a new website. We've talked about doing upgrades, additional upgrades to this building on the AV equipment. And we've talked about expanded use or serviceability of this event center, alternate uses of 13 acres, perhaps upgrades to Central Park. And I'm referring to Central Park as that one, because this one is what, Hall.
LaRousse Park or whatever.
LaRousse Park, so I refer to that as Central Park. And then a couple of people have even mentioned pickleball facilities. So what about the new website? Who would have ever thought, this was taken today, today's date, and it's, uh-oh, I see I pushed the wrong button. I pushed the wrong button, y'all.
There you go.
Hang on, I gotta do this. Oh, that's not a touch screen. There we go. So, who would have thought, this is today's date, it's right there. 18,000 views in the last 12 months of our city's antiquated website.
I count for 12 of those, at least.
I'm sorry?
I count for 12 of those, because that's how I pay my water bill.
There you go. So,
So it
there's, it's
It
an
works.
it's an old system, and, well, how old is it, how antiquated is it? Well, do you remember the Yugo? That's kind of the user version of the most inexpensive car available. It comes with 4 wheels, most of them are round. If you really wanted all 4 wheels, you have to order the other one and put it all together yourself. But what we're looking for is an upgrade to the system that we have. We're not looking for the Cadillac Denali. We're looking for something that could be ADA compliant, which is a new thing. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
But there's ADA compliance built into cities' websites. And so we really need to be careful about how we wade into this to make sure that what we're doing is we're doing it right. We took a second bid today on another civil website service, and we'll be getting the bid from that soon. We're looking at something that gives us upgraded search features. On the search bar, how many have ever been to the website looking for something? Dear Lord, have mercy, it's really awful. In its day, it was okay, but
I was building a Netscape.
actually, GoDaddy, Danica Patrick, yeah, GoDaddy. So there are those who have never darkened the door of the website, and that's fine. But we're getting to be a younger and younger community, and that's where the world is going online, and we need to be able to maintain our ability to let's look at ways to pay our water bill from the site.
Yeah.
And then what about permits? We could go and pull permits, and the homeowner could fill out the permit themselves and be charged for it, and then we get notification of it. What about reserving and renting these facilities? There's some things that we can do to this building to make it even more appealing to renters in smaller segments. That room in there could be outfitted as a meeting space, an office space that somebody could come in and do a conference call with. And they're all over Beaumont, and they rent them out by the hour, by the 2 hours, a 4-hour space. If we can get that up to date, there's businessmen and women out here that could use that space as a temporary office if you need to make a conference call, if you need to do a video chat, and set it up for that and have the rental of it pay for the services. I'd love to have it as a way station again for our servicemen and women, the Jeff County Sheriff's Department. They can come in here and use this as a sub-office, you know. And we've already got the electronic entry and exit, so anytime they need it, they can come in and work secure here. And we have our police department and sheriff's department here close. Emergency notifications. Anytime we needed to post a boil water notice, we could go on the website, post the notice, and then everybody in the city that's already subscribed to it, and this would be a system where we would need, of course, some training on how to do this, but every time something is updated on the website, everybody gets notified of it. If it's just going to be a scheduling thing, or if it's going to be an emergency, you can opt in and out of the different types of notifications. And then, of course, easier to maintain and easier to update. It is not fun. It's a real labor. What about the other uses for the 13 acres? I know that we've heard talk about maybe a hike and bike trail. All of that is available. We've had it surveyed, but we're not about to go spending money on it without citizens' approval. And so we're looking for ideas. What about building a cover over the existing ball court?
Everything on that.
Exactly.
They've got boots on if they're walking over there on that 13 acres.
Snake proof.
So other people have mentioned, let's build a pickleball court. And I feel like we should probably prove concept on that and offer the net and the paddles and the balls and a striping inside one of our courts that we have now. The pavilion would be I've measured it, it's okay, it's a good spot for pickleball. And citizens can take and just reserve the equipment at no charge, and they'd go out and schedule it, do their thing, but we would know that there's that much interest. And if the interest continues to increase, then maybe that would show proof of concept that there's an interest in playing pickleball here. It is an absolute, like lightning fast growth sport. Never played it, never touched a paddle, but there's some that swear by it. In fact, I've got a travel agent friend, and she just sent a group of, or booked a group of 40 pickleball enthusiasts in Beaumont to Hawaii. That's nuts. I wouldn't want to go to Hawaii just to play pickleball. But hey, it's to each its own, right?
It's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So here's something else that we've established today. I'm going to approach council with this. I don't know that we've got to have a vote on this. However, we've talked about this now for about 4 months, and today we spoke to Ms. Vivian again, and I asked if it was still available, and I'd like a little more information. I've gone through their website and their Facebook page, and now this seems to be our time. They only do this once a month. They only set up a new space once a month. Their next opportunity is March the 3rd to start the service. So this is a government-funded service. The only qualification is you must be 60 years or older.
That's not true. You have to be 60 or disabled.
Okay? And they did say they are already servicing home deliveries in our area.
When I called for my mom, they told me they did not come out here.
They do.
This is
They do.
something that Jeff
That's
just
one of
got
those
from me
federally
today.
funded programs that's
And I
being.
don't think
Yeah, I'm all in on that, man.
This is
Especially when money's working, I don't
Yeah.
have nothing to eat.
So what, if we don't meet any type of resistance tonight or the next couple of days, this is tentatively set up for us to have registration event here on on February 25th at 10, from 10 to 12. And it will be for anybody that lives in Double Oaks, 60 years or older. It doesn't matter if you've got $1 to your name or $1 million to your name. There's the only qualification, and I will double check with her, Ms. Johnson, to make sure. I would imagine that would be absolutely true. If you're disabled, you should be automatically, and that would be perhaps even a home delivery. So free registration. It'll be a Monday through Friday meal served here.
What does that registration mean? You registering for 5 days? Is that what
put
you're
your name
talking
down on the list, basically.
Basically, they need to know how many people they're going to be feeding. And that's it.
So it's like Meals on Wheels?
It is Meals on Wheels, but it's Nutrition for Services and Seniors.
That is awesome.
Their own staff, they will bring it here. If we have somebody here, which I would imagine we could find a volunteer. Charlie?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, okay, this is just, I'm going to call you out on this, and it's not because you're Margie, it's because you raised your hand. Are you available
Sure.
Monday through Friday for the rest of your life?
Yep.
Yep, she is.
That's good. So that's the kind of commitment that we're looking for.
Anything to help our seniors out here, because, I mean, my opinion is, I don't think we've been doing enough for them.
So this is, Sandy, did you have something?
I do, because I'm getting confused, because I know this service, I support this service
Yes.
through our company.
Yes.
And it's for homebound seniors. So if they're homebound, how are they gonna get here?
It's not only for homebound.
Okay,
This is
Oh,
a,
if I have to, I will go deliver.
yeah.
Well, that lady that, when she called us at the office, she said that since we have the event center, she said, well, we can get it to where they all come together, they kind of get out and socialize.
I like that.
Yeah, and then
They
she
get out
said,
and
we can bring the
socialize
food
too.
there, they can,
I'm all in
get
for
together,
that.
it gets them out of the house
I'll
and
come
stuff
down
like
and
that.
help.
But my
and
senior
if you'll
citizen
recall,
discount on water
whenever
and free
we had our
meal.
budget meeting
Right.
last
It's gonna
year,
make up for my
part of my
social
budget
security
was
reduction this year.
meals for the elderly. And it was for bingo events here, a movie here, and it's not just elderly, it's 60 and older.
What?
We all qualify for that, just about.
I am offended by the use of the E word.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you gonna, or someone gonna be posting this on the website or?
I wanted to make sure everybody knew about this first. And if we don't
Yeah, there you
have
go.
any objection to this, then we'll go forward with
The
it.
only objection I would have is we need something in the mail. Because a lot of the seniors
Well,
aren't on Facebook.
Or a sign on Sweet Gum and a sign on Riverbend, something.
Yeah, for the
Something to-
registration.
Well,
something
we got,
to get it out to them.
We
Yep.
can go back to that chart that we put up there about 3 or 4 back, and there's somebody's name besides communication somewhere that they can get that done.
Okay, so I'm all about
Email.
not wasting things. So if you sign up for Monday through Friday and you just come up here on Monday to eat, then what happens to the other 4 meals that are?
I don't know. But these should be plated. These should be plated meals.
Yeah.
And I think part of the registration process will be the explanation of,
This is huge. We should not be balking at this at all.
I see no downside to this
There's a lot of
whatsoever.
seniors here and I,
And you've already got somebody that's willing to work a can off, so
And-
Jeff, you go with it.
and,
So, Jim,
thank
that's
you.
what I was basically telling him, that he needs to just go ahead and go for it. It doesn't need to be brought to council. I mean, we're all here. So
And
I
those
think
that
he
want to
needs
come
pursue
down
it.
here and eat, I mean, I think we need to let them.
so the registration says 10 to 12, but meal deliveries March 3rd. Do we have like a time frame that they bring that?
That would be part of
Registration.
that would be part of our preference during registration.
Okay.
So, it's really a no-brainer.
Yeah, for real.
And so go ahead.
I just want to pause for a second. Brandon Willis is our new county
Yes.
commissioner, okay? Precinct 1, he's the one.
Welcome, sir.
He's over precinct 1 now. He just got elected, so
Welcome.
we haven't,
Days ago.
I've been on city council, this is 8 years, this is my 8th year. He's the only county commissioner that's ever come to one of our city council meetings that I know of.
I don't want to butt in, but I do have a question for you.
Sure, you're not
So
butting in.
like with this, when we do something
did.
like Christmas in the park, can we do food, can donation and donate it to these people?
You'll have to check that out with Ms. Johnson.
If not, China has a hunger initiative.
So
We
does
can
Hardin
do
Jefferson.
Right, we can do donations
Their
that
school
way.
kids.
So there is a meal coordinator, and I told her months ago, my concern is getting something started and then having the volunteers fall off. We've all experienced that, and I'm not picking on you, Margie, we love you and it's all good. But you have people that says, yes, 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 I'll do it, and they'll show up once or twice, and then you don't see them again. That's any volunteer organization.
That's probably gonna be pretty big. You're gonna need more than one volunteer.
So whenever we talk
They
today,
do it all, they provide everything.
whenever we talk today, she said we've got a workaround for that.
Okay,
We will send people there until you get on your feet.
okay.
So what's your timeline?
So the timeline is registration already, February 25,
No, I'm talking about yours. What do you have to do?
nothing now. Nothing,
He's done.
it's ours to lose at this point. All I've got to do is call her tomorrow and confirm we're already in the books for registration on the 25th and for us to start here March 3.
Okay, but you've got something to do between now and February 25th to get the word out to.
Register.
Right. Right.
And I
Yeah,
know
once,
that-
after tonight, I will send it out and we'll hammer this thing.
Okay.
Did she happen to mention any special diet stuff like?
How
That'd
about,
probably
how about the full February menu?
Oh, okay.
Is there a way that, like, I mean, I don't know if you know, you know.
So I'm looking at this, and Lisa and I could both qualify for this. I mean, we're talking about barbecue ribs and chicken salad, red beans and sausage.
If you need any help, let me know.
I mean,
So
you
they're
know,
gonna come
we
here
need-
and register, they're registering, saying they're gonna attend Monday through Friday,
yes.
They're gonna pick their days, I guess, because they may not come every day.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
post
So they're
this
registering
on the
that
website.
they're interested, they're registering that.
I will, yeah, we'll
Right.
post this
What is
on
the
the
purpose of the
website.
registration, what's it gonna accomplish?
The purpose
I
of the
probably-
registration is to learn how many in our community are gonna ask for a meal.
Right.
So that when they show up March 3, they'll have 11 lunches And then, of course, everybody will be notified that your lunches will be here at this certain time. Now, we can capitalize on having our people here. Do we just pass it out here? Or do we offer bingo? Do we offer a bridge club? Crafts? I mean, this is where you would shine. You would shine because you've got your cricket machine and whatever you have that you could offer to keep people busy or coming back. Cards, you
Yeah,
name
but I
it.
would,
We
I
could
would
do
wanna
it.
offer my services to people who can't necessarily get out.
Show a video of expanding that pipe.
I was,
So this is something that's been in the works for months. But
We're
it
excited
finally,
about it.
culminated today, and I'm excited about sharing this. So there is a Facebook presence, they also have a website.
all right, so what do you got to do now?
All I've got to do is start promoting this.
Okay, all right.
Well, let's
What's
get
next?
I would love to help if we need to do flyers or whatever, because there's a lot of people that are not on the Facebook page.
Yes.
I don't know the emails that you send out.
Mhm.
I will go door to door if we have to. There's a lot of people that are just
Telephone
kind
calls.
of hermits and.
It'll be one of
Can
those
we put it
things.
on the water bill?
That's what I was gonna ask.
That's one
It'll
way to
be
do
one of
it.
those things where my,
Look
my
at that.
advisory panel finds out they can get a free meal out of
Yeah.
it. They're not gonna read none of that stuff.
Hey,
They'll
you
probably-
know, the senior citizen discount thing, I hate to tell y'all people, but that was accomplished this last year too.
Yeah, y'all do.
Okay, that's all we have. Now it's your turn. It's your turn. What is it that we need to add to the board?
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna start with the big one. Getting better internet.
We can't do that.
Yes, we can.
Okay, tell us how you're gonna do that.
When I spoke with them at Spectrum,
internet.
internet, they said that the problem is, we keep signing the contracts with Sparklight.
Okay,
So when we sign, and that's coming from them, they are still in the process of, they're halfway through Sour Lake now. They're all the way to
All the way to
Cook
Bullfrog.
Road.
There is another option for homeowners. It's called Starlink.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Which is not wired and you will not have a problem.
But as far
Or,
as us as like a city, I think we're under contract.
we are.
but
So,
let me tell you,
right
I
now it's
deal,
like a mute point.
I deal with
How do we-
Spectrum
how
on a
do we
commercial
get-
level.
Right, but that's what I want to know. How do we get out from underneath that contract to allow Spectrum to come in?
And
Hang on,
like
hang on just a second. It has nothing to do with that contract. I promise you it does not. I'm real close with the commercial development leg of Spectrum. And we've been trying to hit this thing for 7 years, trying to even come through the woods in the back over here because Northwest Forest has it.
Yeah.
She has tried every opportunity
Yeah,
because,
called too.
Let me tell you
because,
something.
Because this
Yes,
is what
sir.
they told me.
I
They said I
lived-
could spend $10,000.
After the flood, I lived 2 years in Beaumont, and Spectrum ain't no better than
no,
Spectrum.
it's really not.
It's
It's not.
And my thing is like,
Mine was.
I have great internet service. I mean,
can I
What?
tell you that once they buried our line, I have 0 issues now.
Yeah, but they're not doing any more work back here. I mean, mine, the guy even came out and said, why does yours run up here? Why is it not underground? I said, you tell me. Y'all installed it, not me.
Mine
Yeah,
said
So
the road
mine was
because I
terrible
asked them
on
to put it in the ground.
Thousand Oaks. They buried it there. I had 0 problems and I work from home. But before that, I was disconnected from work every 5 minutes. They captured it.
Yes.
So then when I moved to Riverbend, again, it was to the house from the line. Bad problems again. They buried it, no problems. And I seriously, I work 12-hour days from my desk. So
I work from home as well.
you just call them and ask them to bury it, see if it helps you.
All right, well, we got it on the board. What else we got?
What else?
You said
And thank you,
earlier
Margie.
that-
Thank you.
Yeah,
You said earlier that,
because it's frustrating.
we were gonna decide if we're just fixing what we got or we're monitoring it. When are we deciding that time
Case by case, or you have something specific?
For what?
period? No, I'm saying, we got stuff to fix and all that stuff, but we're talking about modern things, just like 15 minutes ago. So are we just?
Well, some
fixing
things
or
are
we monitoring?
necessities.
Are we growing or what?
Well, I think that's open for debate. I mean,
Yeah,
at this
absolutely.
point, it's, I mean, we're not gonna make a decision today on going and annexing, down to Rain
Well, and
Road.
part of that, that RCP grant, if we get approved for that, part of that is an annexation study. So that's something that we can.
Talking about annexing, just curious.
We're gonna have to keep up all our roads and all that stuff too over there.
Oh, annexing to
We're gonna
Trail.
annex
Okay.
them, we're gonna take it over.
I heard that Brandon
Make
Lewis
it
will
part
do it
of
for us.
Bevel Oaks,
We'll
going
do our
like,
roads.
once you get past Carroll, the woods
Hey,
between
Heather.
Carroll and Trent.
Would you come get us, because I can't hear
Annexing that
halfway.
property.
Yeah, I
Make
can't,
it part of
I
Bevel
can't
Oaks.
hear when 20 people
No,
talk.
Anybody can hear me.
No, I can't hear.
Not
And I've
sure.
got proof.
I'm not sure.
Took the
Yeah.
test.
All
I
right,
have to say
that's,
that I
that's
totally
true.
agree with the annexation because
No, it's
move
a
what
lot.
I've heard,
I don't know.
they're gonna take that property, just this side of the
Field
West
property.
Forest, and
Field
they're fixing
property.
to expand and put a strip mall out there.
Well, I think the question
That's
that
what
we as a city are gonna have to address first, that we want to be the Bevel Oaks community that we've been for 50, 60 years, or
I
do we
haven't
want,
been here that long.
do we want to, well, I get a free meal.
Me too.
Actually, I get two in my household, but that's okay.
But I mean,
But
Jim,
I mean,
before we-
that's an issue we're not gonna solve in here, because there's a lot of more pros and cons to doing that.
But before we can expand, we have to make sure that our water lines.
Their
and sewer lines-
infrastructure
Well,
is
yes.
solid.
Yes.
Like,
Because this is not, I mean, sorry, but this is not the Bevel Oaks of 50 to 60 years ago. It's not gonna be. We have families with young children moving in here. And so, I mean,
We had a lot of.
I'm sorry,
I raised-
I'm just gonna say this.
I raised 3 kids out here.
Well, I understand that. But what was the median age range? What is the median age range now?
it's more than 30% are over the age of 65.
Right, 30%. So what happens in the next 10 years when those people, and I'm including myself,
Sorry, retirement age, not 65.
I'm gonna include
Retirement
myself
age,
that, I may not be here in 5 years.
I'll be here in the next 5 minutes.
That's right, we may not be. So I have to look at what's good for them, for young families coming in, as well as what's good for me.
So what are you suggesting?
I suggest if we're gonna do some building, I mean, I think I have to agree, because like they said, the more businesses we have out here, the more property we have out here, the more money
Taxes,
is gonna
sales
come
tax.
back to the city. And I realize it's gonna cost us more money to upkeep that and run
So
that.
basically, you say if we took
So
it
last city council meeting, I made a comment, and I hear what you're saying, and it looks good. It
No, that's what
sounds
I'm saying.
good.
It
It
looks
looks
good.
good,
It
it sounds good, but again, I'm young. And one of the reasons why my wife and I moved back here, one specific reason, less than 0.1% crime rate.
Exactly.
So now when you think, these are things when you think of these things, you gotta think about, is it an asset or a liability? Which one is greater than the other? So now when you bring in more, now you're bringing in, you're asking for more stuff. More things are actually gonna occur. And what we moved back here for is actually gonna be diminished.
Which is why you put it to a vote.
Well, but
Right,
hold on,
right.
at the
And
same
so
time.
I just wanna bring that up,
At the same time, development is going all the way down 105.
it is.
And they're fixing to put in, and then I was told all this by people that work for Entergy. That they're going to build an apartment complex on 105.
They built 2 right beside my house.
They're coming this way.
And the crime rate is
They're
going up.
coming this way.
That's a gift card in Jefferson.
And the meth rate is
That's
going
By the way,
up.
that's
It's to get the kids
not what I was
part of
thinking.
Jefferson School District.
So Heather, can you?
I'm looking at homeowners, people that actually pay bills for the city.
Well, that,
But then, I mean, we do not have a neighborhood watch program out here any longer.
okay, we're trying to solve a problem, and we've gone way past identifying it. We don't have near the capabilities in here right now to even do that. But I think we plotted, we got up there, no, it's already on the board, it's already on one of those other. There was another one that just came up, what did somebody else just say?
Security,
Security, yeah.
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood.
Well,
y'all want that on there
Neighborhood
too?
watch.
or just
That was
slap
on the old
list
list as
already.
well.
Yeah, it's on the list.
I really think that if we got to code enforcement, we could probably reduce some of the security problems. Just saying.
Security
We
problem,
got that on the
we
list.
identified that several years ago.
Yeah, just like dogs on the last 20
Can't
years.
afford it. Can't afford a police officer around here.
No, but security.
With the dog, all you gotta do is take them down to here and she'll take them in.
What I
No,
mean
she
about
won't.
security is
No.
I'm
She
talking
can't?
about
No.
cameras.
Shut it down.
About
What's that?
what, Charlie?
Yeah, she heard.
I'm talking about the cameras and.
She hurt
and Jeff and I
herself.
have been working
Oh.
at,
So
it,
she had to
looking
shut
at
it
other,
down.
with the
Okay.
mayor, with other avenues. All we need is cameras. That's the only way we're gonna prove anything to any sheriff deputy. We need him out here.
And you can
is get
register
cameras.
them.
We'll talk to Drew about that.
So the item to list, well, you got security
Don't
up
need to
there,
talk
that's,
to her about
we understand what it means. What else, anybody else wants to?
We asked for security cameras a long time ago, and Drew stood over there and shot that down. He said, okay, here's one thing. People can have the right to get that footage. If they turn in a public information request, they can get that footage. I'm just using this as an example, guy cheating on his wife or whatever, okay? And they want the proof, right? So they can, you talk about trying to find a needle in a
So you
haystack.
mean somebody's gonna do the right thing because it was a camera?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, it can be a big thing for the city, it can be a liability for the city and a big expense for the city.
No.
Look, hey,
Gotta
guys,
go produce.
No.
look,
Well, you just send them the digital content.
No, what you do is you let the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department put the
That's a
cameras in.
public
Then
information
they're
request.
responsible for that.
That anyone.
well,
wants
look,
to see it anyway.
we're trying to solve the issue in here. And all we're trying to do is identify what that issue is.
Yeah.
In addition to what we've already identified on those other natty ones we looked
Okay,
at earlier.
going back to number 66 on your list.
Okay,
They're
what was it?
making money for the city instead of spending money, like with Christmas in the park. Don't everybody beat me up. I'm not complaining about Christmas in the park. I'm not complaining about 4th of July. I'm not complaining about the things that we have. But if we make that money, instead of spending that money, you know, if we're making, say we do a craft show every month, we're making, I think I figured it out. So in here, it would be roughly about $400, and if we open in the back, you could probably get 50 people in here, that we're looking at $1,000. So that $1,000 will pay, the first 6 months would pay for fireworks for the 4th of July, right? So that,
3 months.
right, but it saves the city money for us to have more money to spend on our parks and get in the bathrooms and stuff like that.
I do have a question. If you had, say, 20 vendors in here, they probably, you'd want to attract several hundred people.
Right.
Yeah.
If
But
the,
you gotta
if,
start somewhere, you're not gonna do that your first couple of times.
Parking's gonna be an issue.
Well, it wasn't with the car show, was it?
We didn't have the car show here.
Same
Oh, no,
difference.
no.
We've addressed the parking lots with grant money to expand this parking lot back here and go out 60 feet behind the building.
Same
buildings.
difference.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
All right, Margie.
But the
hold
concept-
it. You've made a proposal, and what I'm gonna suggest is kind of what I said earlier. Put some meat on that bone, bring it back to the cab committee, and let's make something firm that we can present to the council to fund or non-fund or.
Oh, no, the city would, the only thing that we would need would be the use of this building for one day.
Yeah, so
Well,
like he's saying,
make an event. Let's do
yes,
it.
yes,
Then-
make a proposal, present it in CAB, and
Well-
then they'll present it to the city council during the meeting, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's two things. If you're releasing the building from the city, you don't need any input from the city at all. If you're gonna do something that's gonna in turn provide some
Right, and I
revenue
mean,
to the city, then
that's-
yeah, you're gonna have to
That's
follow
what I'm
that.
saying, I could do that.
one exception, if you do
But then
some sort
y'all
of
are- I mean,
alcohol sales
y'all aren't
from
making
these.
enough money to do what?
If you have food vendors or any alcohol vendors, you have to do, you can't.
Well, you're gonna have to
You have to
follow
do
the
the
ordinances.
lease
I mean,
thing,
that's
yeah.
part of
No,
it.
no, we
but-
have the lease, there's a,
But
for this
I
building.
mean, I went to an event last month at Sour Lake, and there was probably 40 vendors there. This is outdoors, but they had food trucks. So I spoke with the Chamber of Commerce lady, and I asked her, I said, hey, how do y'all do this? I said, you know, how are your events set up? And she told me, she goes, we used to do free events. She said, we can no longer afford to do
Yeah.
free events.
Yeah.
Because not only, I mean, you know, it would be fine if it was just Bevel Oaks. But when we put it out, you know, on Facebook or whatever, you know, you get people from Sour Lake, you get people from Lumberton, because they did like to come here and do those things. So we're feeding those people for free. Instead of feeding those people, save the money, it's not a whole lot, but save the money and let food trucks come in.
Don't food trucks have the $500 per
Some do,
requirement?
some do. I don't know about the one that just went to,
Wood?
Pinewood.
They don't have anything at Pinewood. They have a different food truck every week.
Yes,
And they
exactly.
don't, they
Because,
just
yeah,
show
you've
up.
got proven foot traffic
And
over
it
there.
was
Yeah, for
busy,
sure.
but see, that's the thing, a lot of these food trucks have people that follow them, and they will come to wherever they are. Because that food truck Friday night probably made $5,000 in the whole 15 minutes I sat
Where, at Pinewood?
there. Yes,
They make a lot of money.
it was busy.
There again, it's the system that they've got in place that they started a long, long time ago. You had to start with garnering the interest to go out there for whatever reason. And we're just starting this process
Right,
about
so-
getting people interested in
But if
coming
you,
out
you
here.
can do themes, and some
This
people,
was-
I might be interested in one and not the next one, or,
This was my
yeah.
thing. I got the dates for Sour Lake, so we could have it the weekend after Sour Lake. That allows those vendors to come here.
Yeah.
Because if they're spending $20 on a booth and they're making $400, what's it doing?
Man, put it together. I'm anxious to
Are
see
you
it.
on Jeff's committee? So that's, my own personal challenge is to you to follow up on that.
Does anybody have anything else they want me to write
No,
up
ma'am.
here, or am I done?
You go
You're
sit
They're
down.
done.
Thank you.
Brandon, what can we as a city and city council do for precinct 1?
I do have an update. So, when I came in for budget day, I got a copy of the agreement. Two previous administrations, y'all's and ours, that entered into in August of '23 that would have put any road work out here out until August of '27.
Yeah.
I got a copy, I'm gonna amend it, I'm gonna scratch that. Like I told you whenever I was running for commissioner, and you will see us doing road work.
Nice.
Yes.
Yay!
I told them, go back and look at it, I went back and looked at it, it's ridiculous.
Now, also too, Brandon, from my understanding, city council plus myself, we're required to give back to precinct 1. And one of the ways was to volunteer with your food drives. I know that we haven't done that for the last 2 years, so shame on us.
He's like, what? I don't know what you're
You
talking
didn't know
about.
anything about that?
No, I'm not worried about that.
Oh, okay.
You wanna do
Because
that?
we
Wait,
need to
wait,
give back to you.
Give back because it has to be interlocal, so there's
Yeah.
interlocal agreements. You have to provide something for us to do.
And that's what we normally did.
Y'all don't wanna see me, I don't look in orange, so. So what we're gonna do, it's gonna be the same process. You provide some material. What you don't have, we'll figure out,
Okay.
how to make that happen, and we're gonna make it. So.
That's easy enough.
You're gonna get, you'll see us out here, Jody, hopefully, this road season, hopefully, everything goes smooth and we get to get out here, but you're on the radar, you're on the books, and we're gonna get to you. And don't you have to wait till, 2027.
I don't know who
That's
can- I don't know who
amazing.
fixed my ditch, but I probably have one of the fastest moving ditches in
Well,
Bethlehem.
that's
Yeah.
because the county dug it out
County
at the
did.
other end.
Yeah.
It was backed up. It was
Well,
stopped up.
Thank you, because now I've got, I don't have
And I
standing
think
water.
Sabrina and Bud are both working on getting an easement
Which was awesome.
from.
That's gonna be a
It's a
DD6.
That's
DD6.
Lee Masters for DD6.
Brandon, let me ask you a question. What,
Yeah.
do you have much interaction with the DD6?
I do, I was over there yesterday.
Uh-huh.
They have, gosh, I'm going up in the helicopter next Wednesday, to look at all the projects in precinct 1. I've already been up once. We have 14, I think they just showed me 4 more, 18 projects just in precinct 1.
That's DD6.
That's DD6, helping the drainage, those guys are on top of their game,
Yeah.
and they're good. And I would suggest you guys interacting with them as much as you can.
When are their monthly meetings?
So their next one is February 4th at 9 o'clock.
In the morning.
Yep. Well, so I don't get to go either because Tuesday morning is commissioner's court. But I'm always, we're interacting with them all the time because we have to get, our job is to get our water to their ditch. So we're interacting with them all the time. We got to get our water just to them. So they're doing a lot of really good drainage projects. They're really good at getting grant money, and they're really good at spreading it out. So interacting with them, I would encourage that. Somebody's showing up, saying, hey, we're here, because the next project may be over here. Right?
Nice.
They're always looking. I mean,
Squeaky wheel.
Yeah, that's it. Or just show up, hey, here we are. because they're gonna keep doing projects. I mean, they do all their work in-house. They've got over 100 employees. They got their own equipment operators, mechanics. I mean, they can mobilize pretty quick. So there's some really good projects going on. It's gotta be helping you already because all the water's going that way anyway. So all that's getting opened up. You know, as we go into China and getting out that way and in between here and there, all that's getting opened up really good. So I would go make myself sing,
Yeah.
shake some hands.
Who would be the contact,
So Doug Saunders is the guy. Doug,
Connect.
Is Jason still the guy?
Doug's there, you got, and then
Jody.
John Murph is the
Yeah,
operator. John Murph is a really good guy. All their engineers, we just had to sit down with them yesterday, so they're always doing something. And I mean, that's what they're there for. So,
And really, you don't need a contact there as far as going to the meetings, like you said, all you gotta do is show up,
Yep.
and we've done that before, and basically what they asked us to do is, because they did a lot of work out here, is to go in there and say, hey, man, we really appreciate it from Bevel Oaks, we really, y'all just, man, they knocked it out of the
Man, I
park.
thought I'd done that.
They were here.
How about drainage?
You go, well, that was the county that did that for you, so you need to go to the county meeting. But this helps them whenever they hear input like that, that helps them to get more money. And that's what they need, that's what they want is more money. Man, they got, like you said, they got the equipment, people, they got stuff.
they want more projects and they want to spend money, that's what they do.
I mean, you know, I've been here 3 years, and they did a really good job,
A lot.
the ditch down to,
They stay out here for almost a month,
Wow.
big stuff.
I only have one more thing. Y'all are gonna hate me by the end of this.
No, that's what we do. That's
Do
what
we
it's
have-
city
do we
You mean
have
by the end
somebody-
of
Do we have somebody who can build a box and it could be called a blessing box? Pretty big, where we can put canned food in it.
We'll put you on task to make that.
We can put, I am not, y'all do not want to see my carpentry
You're a
work.
craftsman.
Stephanie?
I can make it.
What is,
But we
what is
need-
it? What is it? City Hall.
It's a blessings box, you know, for like,
You put an item in or take it
anything.
out, yeah.
Put it next to the book.
Would this
Yeah.
be an item that you guys in CAB
I
could
found,
actually?
after we talked, I found
Certainly
a key
put it out there.
code, thing where it's either fingerprint code or regular key
Oh, you
for
mean,
50 bucks.
like I put some books in if my kid wanted to go get one out?
Well, it's
That
any,
one.
it's anything. It-
this is like non-perishable food.
Right.
Oh,
But,
food.
Jim, we have a book
We do have a
box at the
book.
park.
We do.
Yes. Where you
but we
been?
can do one for other things too. You can do like, kids' jackets and things that, like your kid grew out of it, but it's pretty good, you know? And so you go there and you go, you need something, you put something in there.
Right.
And when they act like you're going to your house and my house.
I'm telling y'all, y'all are really gonna not like me. If we can, I would like to try to organize something for Thanksgiving, maybe the week before Thanksgiving, to where we can, you know, get some volunteers and cook and maybe have a Bevel Oaks Thanksgiving.
That used to happen in Boco.
I realize that used to happen at both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it was successful.
There's nowhere to cook, like,
But see, that's
Cook
kind of not
here.
fair because I'm here presenting stuff for the CAB.
You're not presenting for the CAB unless you're at the CAB meeting.
Well,
And that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting
Well,
at. I mean,
trust me,
these,
I'll be there.
these things that you're presenting to us as a city council, I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm directing her to a CAB meeting to.
And she is part of our CAB.
Yeah, that's community stuff as far as, you know, on that side.
You know, quite frankly, if you say the box, for example, if we put that on our list, it gets merged in with that natty,
yeah.
and, you know,
Well,
which one are we gonna work on
There's some
probably?
stuff on that list probably shouldn't be there, but.
Well, yeah, and they're gonna come off, you know.
Yeah.
What, the intent of having it showing that whole 90 was, I didn't want anybody to think that we were ignoring
Right.
what was put up there. Some of them are gonna come off, because we're not gonna strike the middle of sweet gum, that's coming off. And there's others that we're just not gonna do, or we've combined them into other things.
I think we need.
And
to
that's
get
not
electric-
because, and he said striping sweet gum, that's not because we don't want to do them. but there's some type of
Well, I mean, the
rule
rules,
because the
honestly, it's
road is not wide enough.
It's
Yes,
not.
yes. So,
Well, that's just an example.
Yeah, I would really
but
like the
I
spikes
needed
though.
to. I think
Yeah.
we needed to.
We need to get
actually
those.
Spike Street.
Let them know
Yes, so we can just, you know, like if somebody's hauling butt down our street, we can just pop it and then put it back
why.
down.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any?
Any updated status of 82 and 83, it was the water building. And
I'm sorry, Charlie.
82 and 83 was the water building, which we're working on the garage tomorrow, so that'll be in progress. And then the surplus equipment.
Oh, yeah.
That way it's not there.
Yeah, yeah, we, one of the meetings, very early meetings, not before we even had the CAB meeting, one of our citizens suggested or questioned whether we had a 5-year plan. And all those items that pertain to water and sewer operation, I did take those and develop a 5-year plan off of that. And that's what I used to develop this year's budget, and we'll continue for that to be a green activity that we'll modify and look at. And notice what Charlie's talking about is, when we started looking at the water plant building down there, it was just collecting everything from Santa's sleigh to, I don't know we had a crate down there that,
Like
it was
upstairs.
almost like opening Geraldo's ball to find what was in there.
Thought we had Jimmy Hoffa cornered too.
Yeah, we turned out it was some
Speaking of-
valve connect, we don't really know what it is. Anyway, yeah, those are items that we're gonna have a new door. And contrary to some beliefs, we will not be painting a mural of wood ducks on the water plant.
Oh, Charlie.
Just go ahead and burst it.
Knife.
Turn
Let's
his
do this.
resignation.
Unless we get a
Unless you do a
volunteer.
bake sale.
And
do
one
it
other
yourself.
thing, if somebody needs a guitar player, Tara can play the guitar.
There we go. That was actually really cool that
Yeah,
day.
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Anything else for us to discuss? If not, we can do a motion to dismiss.
Make
A motion?
Thank everybody for coming. I guess the slower turnout means we're doing some good stuff, huh?
For the weather.
We're not mad at it.
All of the slides will be put up on the website. Good luck finding it, but you'll be on the website.
Well,
motion that-
18,000 people found it last year.
That's right.
I motion.
I second.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Brandon.
Let's wait for that.
Because I didn't have a clean copy.
But they used to.
We keep getting this senior citizen.
Oh my gosh, that is huge. That's 30 miles an hour. I'm calling Beth Darby as soon as I get out.
Well, I go out to eat with my baseball buddies every Friday, so.
Yeah,
Well, it would be 5 days a week.
right.
I get 420, 4,000